Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, yes, collection review time once again, and today is a super special one because it is the collection of a good friend, my friend Josh, whom I met thanks to Simon, the regular on the channel. And so Josh, Simon and I are regulars at the Omega boutique. Shout out to Amanda and the whole Pacific Place crew. So hello Josh.
Hello. Great to be here finally.
Good to have you. I'm sure everyone is going to really enjoy your presence. On my wrist, I got my, it's almost like a moon watch. It's a Frank Miller running the Le Mania movement. And what is on your wrist?
So today I am wearing the new Omega Speedmaster Pilot Flight Certified. This is one, I just got this week after seeing it, I guess, less than a week ago. As I think you'll see as we go through the collection, I'm a pretty big Speedmaster aficionado and just a big fan of Omega in general. This particular one really suits my personal collecting style. I like the color on it quite a bit, and it's reminiscent of some of my favorite watches that I have in the collection.
So fair warning, there's a heavy Omega content coming soon. Before we get to Omega, maybe a quick word about you. You live here in Hong Kong. Been here a long time.
Yeah, I've been in Hong Kong for almost 15 years. Got into watches while I was living here, and actually I'll show one of the watches. Maybe we can start with kind of how I got into the hobby. This is, I'm going to take it off this horrible pillow. This is a 1950 Patek Calatrava. This is actually my great-grandfather's watch. So this was one that my father had received as a present sometime, probably in the early 70s. And my father's not a watch person, not a collector of any kind. And he'd basically forgotten about it and stuck it in the proverbial sock drawer. And then after 40 years of sitting there and visiting me in Hong Kong and my sisters in New York, he realized that, Patek, this sounds familiar, maybe there's something. So he went and pulled it out of the drawer and gave it to me. So this is my great-grandfather's watch. It was in nearly perfect condition when I got it. Just the hour indicator at 7 had fallen off, but was still in the case. There was no scratching on the dial. And you can see it's in just phenomenal movement. So I had it sent to Patek for servicing and identification, and it came back about 9 months later. And yeah, I do wear it pretty regularly. What I particularly like about this one, aside from the aesthetics, of course, is this great-grandfather. This is the father of my dad's mother, who unfortunately passed away while my oldest daughter was in utero. So we named her middle name is after her great-grandmother. And when I wear this watch, I can pull it out and we go through. This was your great-grandfather Nathan's. He had a daughter named Martha. She had a son named Arthur. He had a son named Josh, and now we have you. And so my kids will know that this is a piece of family heritage that ties them to previous generations. At the time when I received the watch, I really didn't have any collection to speak of, but something about wearing this one just brought something out of me that I wasn't really expecting. Then I just started getting into more luxury pieces. So you can see it's a smaller case. I think it's 32.5 or 33 millimeters, but it has these large teardrop-shaped drop lugs with this sort of interesting Art Deco-y design on the side here, which is pretty different. You don't see on a lot of even references from this time period. So I haven't been able to track down exactly where it was sold, but I'm reasonably confident that it was my great-grandfather who purchased it primary and then gave it to my dad some 20, 30 years later.
Do you know a bit about the family history? Would he have been in New York at the time?
So he was not. He was almost certainly, he bought it. I don't know where he bought it, but he was living in Houston, Texas at that point. He actually had a very interesting life and childhood. After a couple of unsuccessful attempts, he finally ran away from home at 16. That was from Chicago, and ended up ranching in Montana for a number of years. And then when he was 18 or 19, he heard about a boom happening in Houston, Texas, and moved to Houston at 18, bought an ice cream bicycle he'd saved up, and he just had a little ice box on the back of ice cream on a bike, and rode around and built it into a 30-plus store ice cream empire in Houston. And then when Baskin-Robbins came to town, instead of banding with the local indie ice cream shops, he sold them his whole franchise with the condition that he kept the land and the property and turned into a real estate magnate. And yeah, just an unbelievable life story. He was incredibly active in the local community. There's still a number of charities that are involved with him. He brought hundreds of people out of Eastern Europe at his own personal expense prior to the start of World War II. So saved thousands of lives this way. Just an incredible man, an incredible legacy. So we're very happy. I'm very happy to still have this in the family.
And that's the kind of man who wears a Patek Philippe.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, that was what got me started, and from there, my next step was actually into, this was the first the first one into Omega. So I don't know if you want to start with the Speedmasters, or we can start with the first Omega I got, which is the Aqua Terra that's next to you there.
All right, let's grab the Aqua Terra.
Yeah, so
a fan favorite on the channel. I had a smaller version, the 38.5, and this is exactly the same in, is it 41?
Yeah, it's 41.
41 version, no frame around the date, vertical teak.
Yep.
And to me, this is the ultimate. And then depending on your wrist size,
Yes.
I think James was wearing at first the framed one.
Yes, that's right. He
in
wore
the smaller
framed one in
version.
Skyfall, in the smaller version, and then
Yeah,
with
the
the larger
Skyfall
one.
And it's actually one of the watches that that comes back in the most movies with him. And yeah, we learned not long ago that he also wore the one without the frame around the window.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, it's just a super versatile watch. I tend to wear, especially my tool and dive watches, I tend to wear them actively. So this one I wear kayaking and sailing. As a result, it's got a whole bunch of wear and scratches on it, but it still looks great. And super durable watch. I did recently have it serviced because it was hitting its window, but no, I've actually never had any real problems with it before. And yeah, it's been through quite a lot with me. When I bought this, I thought this was going to be sort of a one and done watch for me, which you know, you guys can't see it on camera, but looking in front of you is sort of a ridiculous sentiment.
But we could make a whole video about it, because it is made to be a one and done.
Yes.
And yet when you go to the boutique and you buy one like this, then they will be very very happy at the Omega boutique, and they will invite you to see more watches, and they
it's
almost
like the
expect you to buy more watches. But if you make a one and done, then it defeats the whole purpose.
Exactly.
They should never call you back.
It's really a gateway drug of a watch. Yeah, but you know, this one I'll wear with anything up to very formal wear. So, you know, with a suit and tie, no problem. Obviously not with black tie, but jeans and a t-shirt, you know, in a wetsuit on the water, also totally fine.
Definitely does everything. So shall we start the Omega section of
Let's get into it.
video?
Let's get into it.
What would come next?
So in terms, I think the next one, as long as well, maybe we can just show where the Speedy box is at this point, and then we can go one by one through this group.
There's more Omega than
There's more Omega than this.
There's more Omega. This is just the Speedy box.
Speedy
so we're
box.
going in a subsection of the collection.
So yeah, I'll start actually with this one. This is the Apollo 11 35th anniversary. It's an 1861 movement, but I have it on the more recent rubber strap right now. I just think it's a little sportier and more fun. I really like this rubber that Omega has right now. So what's fun about this one is that if you take a look on the dial, first of all, it's a beautiful panda dial. It has this great cream color. It's not like a stark white. It's a little more cream. You can see it, yeah, in comparison to the white Omega.
The two.
Yeah, you can see it's very different in character. What I particularly love, and the reason I bought this one, is that if you'll see in red, there's July 20th, 1969, which was the date of the moon landing. July 20th is also, incidentally, the date that my oldest daughter was born. So she has her birthday on a watch, which is just very cool. And actually, if you take this off the pad, we can take a look at the case back. It's got a beautiful sticker as the mission patch from Apollo 11,
wow.
Which really, it really pops in person too, and it's just a lovely piece. Yeah, I like these. I like some of these older limited edition ones. I think the 40th anniversary one is very good. particularly the 40th anniversary Apollo 11 that was done in platinum with the gold small seconds hand. I think is a really, or sorry, the gold small seconds dial is a really nice one. But this one has, personal. As you'll see through the collection, there's sort of a mix of bought it on the spur of the moment because I just really liked it, and ones that have more of a sentimental aspect to them.
And these were individually numbered.
Yes, that's the old way. Omega mostly does. They don't call them limited editions, I think, anymore, but yeah, they don't number them anymore, but they do limit the production. I guess we'll just go across.
Everything is special.
Yeah.
Actually, in the box, I think people will be familiar with one of your most recent purchases,
Yeah.
the white dial,
Yes.
current version.
The best watch of the year.
Of the Speedy, so the full review is
Yeah.
on my channel.
And I will tell you, I can't remember whether Simon showed his white Speedy on this channel or not after he got it, but actually this is that watch. So Simon and I made the decision to split it, and we have been handing it back and forth and swapping straps and bracelets and all sorts of fun things with it. So right now I have it on the 3861, but we've had it on the black rubber. Simon wears it on the black leather quite frequently as well. He's more of a dressier gentleman than I am, so his
Definitely.
yeah, his tastes
He's
tend to be
very dressy.
Yeah. He's our
So yeah, that could be a video in itself as well. The concept of shared custody
yes, yeah.
of
So
watches
we weren't
between buddies who.
we weren't sure if we would do it or how it would work out,
Yeah.
but we just decided to give it a try. And actually, it's been very fun. It's been a very fun thing. I don't know that I would do it a second time, but it's worked out very well with this watch.
And so now you're in your full custody, or now it's
Yeah.
yours, huh?
Yeah, it's mine for the time being.
For the time being.
So Simon is currently on holiday. When he gets back, maybe he'll take it back. We usually go one
Maybe
or
he'll
two
forget
months at a
about
time.
it.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's not really his style.
Maybe you'll forget about it because he also owns, and this is one that really suits him because he loves blue. Everything.
Yes, everything has
in
to
his
be blue
collection
for
is
Simon.
Blue. So
Yeah.
you got the call for the Snoopy.
Yeah, we got the call for the Snoopy. So yeah, last year, I bought you've seen it in the case, the gold, the moonshine gold. And when I bought that one, Amanda asked us whether there was any particular watch that we wanted to be on the short list for. And somewhat jokingly, we said the Snoopy, which I think at that time we were expecting more of a 2-year wait. But then we were very fortunate to get one pretty quickly. So this one I received maybe 9 months later. I don't think it's currently wound, so it might not be running. You can wind it if you want. But I would imagine most people on the channel are familiar.
If you've seen that video with Simon, we spent ages
that's right.
timing, trying to understand
Which was
what,
the 14 seconds, what was the burn?
what is Snoopy actually doing.
And I actually just, one of my coworkers who is becoming a watch enthusiast, I just showed this to him for the first time on Monday, and he loved it. He thought it was absolutely hilarious. And yeah, just, another Speedmaster fan born.
And of course, your other daughter was born on October the 5th.
No.
No.
That would be an amazing coincidence.
Well, maybe you can work on your timing for your next kid.
I think 3 is good. So she was actually...
Mrs. Josh, please take notes.
Yeah, if you're watching this,
we have priorities.
She knows the shop is closed. I think she's more adamant than I am. But our younger daughter was with me when I bought this one. I didn't know I was going to buy it. She just happened to be with me when we came into the shop. I didn't realize Amanda had gotten one for me. It was a total surprise.
And since then, she's been watching
This is sort of her
Snoopy every day.
Yeah, this is sort of her watch. And
were you actually a Snoopy fan, or?
I wouldn't say I was like the biggest Peanuts fan.
Yeah.
I always really enjoyed the soundtrack for the Charlie Brown Christmas special, which is the Vince Guaraldi trio. Like very cool jazz. I really enjoy that. It's not really the holiday time without that one for me.
So as you said, the one that opened the doors.
Yeah, this is the one that kind of took us to the next
level. It kind of
level
does that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you wear that, every door in town opens for.
This is a great one. So I think this one came out the year I turned 40. Green is my color in the way that Simon loves blue. I love green.
It's heavy. Can you help me?
It's very solid. Yeah, here. Actually, I'll pop it on even. We can.
This is.
Lick. So it's an absolute beast of a watch.
Yeah, you can't help yourself. You got
to get your hands on it. So I'll show a little bit while I talk about it first. But yeah, the green dial, just the number of colors that we get out of this one in various lighting is really incredible. Obviously, as anyone watching can tell, I'm a big Speedmaster fan, so there was a lot of value and resonance to having a Speedmaster for me. I wanted to buy a solid gold watch for my 40th birthday, and yeah, just as soon as this was announced, I knew it would be on the list. So I asked Amanda.
Pop it on, slide over here.
I asked Amanda to get one for me. It took about a year to get one into the shop, but as soon as this one was available, I snapped it up. She had, I think, a few months beforehand, I was offered the one on green leather, but honestly, I really wanted to hold out for the full bracelet, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, you got to go full gold. Huh?
Yeah, and so, this one, obviously, I don't wear when I go kayaking, but this is more of a dress watch for me, and I will.
Is it holding up well? Are you scratching it?
No, take a look. I think it's in very, very good shape. Yeah.
Well, it's a sort of, I don't want to call it jubilee. I don't know the exact word for it, but because each portion of the bracelet is smaller,
yes,
it will hide more.
Will hide more scratches. Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, it's cool. Scratches are cool.
Yeah, no, scratches are great. Yeah, it's funny. I was actually looking in one of the watch groups. Somebody posted I think it was a 1965 Speedmaster recently. They've just gotten back from service. Scratch to hell. I mean, you can almost not read the bezel. I was looking at it and I'm like, that is so cool. I love that. Meanwhile, every time my watch is within 5 meters of, one of my kids, I'm like, right. The panic sets in.
Pass it on.
Yeah.
I'm going to show it in every angle. Yeah. And what about the weight? Does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me. I actually like weighty watches. And I think you'll see, just from the collection, I like slightly larger watches. I have a bigger wrist. It's one of the reasons I think that I'm able to wear the Pilot so comfortably, which is thick. Definitely has a thick presence. But I don't know. I like the weight. I like to feel like I'm wearing the watch, generally speaking.
Since we have the Pilot, we can maybe switch to this one and the latest release with that grainy matte
so cool.
dial and very different case. This one is fully brushed. I just did a very short review on it. So what drew you to this latest release?
So I knew I was into it before I even saw it in steel. And I went into the shop and then told Amanda, just put me down on the list. Like as soon as there's one to buy in Hong Kong, like I'm going to come in and buy it. I wasn't expecting her to call me 2 days later. I thought it might be maybe a couple more weeks, but she called me pretty much straight away, and so I jumped right in and grabbed it. I like, obviously I have an affinity for Speedmasters. I won't need to go into that. I love the flat link bracelet. I love that it's on brushed steel. I think that makes it more, it brings, harkens a little bit more to the sort of the tool watch history of the Speedmasters in general. So this is a less dressy watch. You can see even by comparison to the 3861 bracelet that's currently on the white Speedy. The flat link is just, the brushed flat link just, I don't know, wears a lot better with like jeans and sort of stuff, which is a little more what I will wear during the day most days. I love the flight indicator. I enjoy date dial. Actually, really, one of the features I really like that nobody seems to comment on is this rhodium insert around the dial, around the seconds. I think it just makes the whole dial pop. And it's very reminiscent of one of my favorite watches, which is a 1970 Flightmaster, which is this one, which I just got back from service after a very long time away.
That's weighty as well.
This is very weighty. This is a very solid one. So the 1970s steel, you can feel the difference in the materials quality. The Mark II case is also just massive, but this is a grand complication. So I actually call this one my Pitmaster because I use it for barbecue. This is actually, of all of my watches, if I'm being honest, this one probably gets the most strict hard utility.
So Josh is a barbecue meat enthusiast.
Yes. My other passion. Watches.
It does look a bit like a barbecue.
Right? It's got a little bit of the orange, that loose link bracelet. So what's cool about this one is it has an independent 12-hour hand. It's called a flight timer, which is this blue hand here, which I think is nicely referenced on the small second subdial. There we go. Small second subdial of the Pilot. calls back the blue and the yellow of the flight timer. So when I do barbecue, I will use the flight timer to track very long cooks. So if I'm doing, say, a brisket, and I know it's going to be 14 plus hours, I'll use the flight timer to just track the whole cook of that brisket. Then I'll use the chronograph to track things in between. So if I want to check it every hour, if I have another thing cooking, I can independently track, if I'm doing ribs separately, I can track the brisket on the blue flight timer, and I can track the ribs on the chronograph, which is actually surprisingly valuable. So the flight hand operates independently, and we'll just go on a 12-hour dial. And then also, this is just a fun thing, the bezel rotates internally.
That is crazy.
It's such a funky little watch.
Do they make a modern version of this?
No, there hasn't been a Flight Master in decades. Nothing quite like it. I keep kind of hoping they'll issue a new one. That's part of the reason I was so excited to see the Pilot, is because it's almost like a modern version of this watch.
That all day.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
That's gotta make a comeback.
Yeah.
And the next Speedy is one that I also happen to own.
Yeah, this is, I'll say I have more passion in some ways about some of the other Speedmasters in my collection, but I think there's no question this is the absolute pinnacle of a Speedmaster that's available right now. So this is the new Ed White, this is the 321. If you have not seen this movement in person, you have to go see this movement in person. This is one of the most lovingly, beautifully assembled movements that's available. Obviously, the heritage of the 321 is extremely important in the history of spaceflight and in the history of Omega the brand, and of course, most specifically in the history of the Speedmaster references. But yeah, this one was, I think actually I first saw it on your wrist after you'd bought it. And I wasn't convinced that I was going to buy one because I had more than a few Speedmasters already in the collection. But I kept thinking about it just more and more. And it definitely wears, again, I think if we sort of compare it with a modern Speedmaster case, you can see it's a little bit smaller, not really visible on video, but it's a bit lighter. I think I mentioned to you, and I think you had the best line for it, it's just a very subtle and quiet luxury wearing this watch.
There's a little pleasure, you have to admit, when you wear it, that people sort of know it's a Speedy, but they have no idea it's one that's got such a special movement in it. So it's a real personal pleasure to wear that. This one, it's more obvious.
Yes, more of a statement piece. I mean, it's going to draw. It's meant to draw attention. Does a good job of that. The enamel dial is beautiful, but
I understand some people would say we buy it and maybe feel that visually it's not exciting, like the Rolex Explorer, for example. It's totally understandable. I think it's more like a slow release charm and understanding why it is cool. Huh?
Yeah, and so you can see in contrast to the Pilot, so they have a similar flat link bracelet, which now that I have two of them, I think I'm just going to start buying some more because I really like the way that it wears. But you can see just the difference in having the outer links be brushed versus polished.
Yeah,
they just look, so different. This is a little dressier on the 321, so much more of a tool watch with the Pilot.
You asked me if this could be a daily before buying it, and you can totally daily it, and what a watch to daily.
Absolutely can.
And of course, Josh has a gold Speedy, so that's the kind of people who would daily this one. Most people would, for them, this would be the gold standard, and they would daily this one maybe,
or the Aqua Terra, or
another one. But this one, the tool nature is obvious when you see the two together.
Yeah. But it's just an excellent watch. The little bit of coloration they did on the hour indices on the 321 is beautiful. To harken back, I love the applied Omega logo, the slightly wide E. Again, this is the stuff that you kind of have to be a bit of a Speedy nerd to care about this in the slightest. But
full review on the Optic Watch Reviews channel, of course.
Be careful watching it.
Not review of this one, review of mine. But.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I ended up buying one. So
I mean, the big difference with that one is that it's hand assembled, so
Yes.
by one person in a small workshop. So there's that special.
They turn out
element
very few
to
every
it.
year. Yeah, it's just a very special.
And I think at some point they should even reduce the production or
Yeah.
even stop it altogether. There was a big investment to bring back the 3-register Le Mania this way.
Yeah.
Although it's part of the Swatch group through Roger Dubouille, I believe. No, it's part of the Richemont group.
Richemont, yeah. But yeah, it's no Swatch group. But yeah, it's I think I have to imagine there's a limited market for this particular watch. So I would expect that as the demand comes down, eventually they'll taper off production.
Yeah,
I don't
it has
think
to
it'll be
remain
internal.
important. I think this one now they stopped making it.
That was the rumor. I don't know if they actually have, but the rumor was that they had stopped production. And,
So
or
it's
the
always good
current
at some
line was
point to
gonna be-
taper off the
Yeah.
production.
Yeah. I think the white has been more of a success than they expected.
I think we love that Omega releases a lot of great fun things.
Yes.
But I think for collecting purpose, you probably don't want to see them on every wrist.
No. No.
Yeah. So if you had to keep just one, boom, one Speedy.
One of the Speedies? Oh, gosh. I have to say, probably it would be the Apollo 11 35th anniversary.
Really?
Specifically because of the connection with my daughter, having her birthday on the dial. I think aesthetically, probably the gold. I think, this is the...
It's gorgeous.
And the green is incredible, and it's a distinctive watch. This is one that non-watch enthusiasts will look at, and they sort of will do a double take when they understand the green dial.
As we are running out of light in this room, it starts getting looking more dark.
More black, yeah, it turns
Almost
into
black.
black, yeah, and then every now you'll wear it out at night.
Yeah.
People will see, think it's a black dial.
What I like about it is that
way.
it's a statement, but being a Speedy is not the wrong statement. If as much as I love day dates, and one day probably I will sell everything and buy a day date just to see how it feels.
Yeah.
To be that guy, like Bruce Williams who did it. I think he did very well. Suits him very well.
So should we go through the other Omega? I think there's
Would
three
you go
more.
for a day date because now you have that full
So,
gold Speedy?
I will be honest, and this will probably be a little controversial, but for whatever reason, Rolex's design language does not really speak to me. And when I wear their watches, I don't really feel anything. And as a result, I've never felt particularly inclined to buy one. That's just personal preference. I have nothing against the brand. I think they make incredible timepieces.
Finally, someone
just
who
not for
doesn't
me.
want a Rolex, yeah.
Yeah, they're just not for me. The only one I've ever had any sort of real draw to was they had a Cellini moon phase a few years ago that had a little bit of moon meteorite in the moon rock in the moon phase complication. I thought that was a very
I think that
pretty
one
watch.
will remain special, and we'll realize in 20 years that that's one of the most special ones they've done in recent years. It is because we forget, we see the brand, but we don't really see the watches anymore as a beautiful object.
Yeah.
But it's hard to put the hype aside, and as a beautiful object, that's Cellini moon phase.
It's really lovely.
It could turn out to be
It's really lovely. It's a special piece. Okay, 3 ones. I'll go through these very quickly. I'll start with the Mars timer. This is a 100% just like a geeky watch. I love the idea of it. I love it on the NATO. I actually wear this primarily when I'm traveling now. So it has a whole bunch of fun functions. This is the X33 Speedmaster, so it's a Anna Digi watch. And this one can tell time on Earth and on Mars, which is really useful
of
day to
course,
day.
necessary.
Yeah, absolutely important. So yeah, I use the chronograph. There's a mission timer. My wife is, usually very, very interested to hear exactly how many minutes and seconds have elapsed since we took off or left our house. Yeah, the bezel moves both ways. It's very light. One nice thing about this one is that it's in titanium.
It weighs nothing.
It weighs absolutely nothing. This one you can just forget is on your wrist. And this one I have traveled. We have 3 kids. I've traveled with the kids extensively with this, and it's still in very good condition. So you can see the materials craftsmanship is quite good.
Unlike the pouches.
Yeah, the pouches are falling apart. Thank you, Mark.
I know the comments. How can you have so many nice watches and not get a nice box? The boxes actually are nice.
The boxes aren't bad. The pouch, and to be fair, the person who sold me the boxes told me the pillows would fall apart.
He was right.
And he was right.
He's very fair. And,
he's a very honest guy.
He's got Italian-made new products that you should go see.
Oh, really?
It's got a 70s look to it.
Okay.
Like our parents' hi-fis.
Oh, sweet.
And that would be
I definitely need an upgrade. I need an upgrade and an expansion.
If you want to give to yourself or your wife wants to buy something for you, that would be it. So Vacheron Timer, just super cool, super light.
Yeah, it's just a very fun watch. And, I like it on the titanium bracelet as well, but I think it really shines on the NATO. Yeah.
Super cool. And if you go to Mars, well, this will be probably the watch.
I'm a step ahead of you.
And you still have the time on Earth then.
Yeah. This one, so this is the Seamaster 300. This is the sandwich dial. The funny story about this one with Simon. Simon actually got the call from Amanda. I was not particularly interested in this watch when it came out, but Simon was interested because it's blue, of course, and had asked Amanda to let him know when he could come in for a preview. She messaged him. This is at a time when we were still working together, so we went in on our lunch break. As we're walking in, he said, "Josh, like I can't buy a watch right now. Like don't let me buy it. No matter how good it is, don't let me walk out with it." So we tried it on, and I immediately fell in love with it, like head over heels in love with it. And I turned to him and I said, "I have a solution for your problem. You are not going to buy this watch today. I'm going to take it myself." So.
The solution is always money.
Yes.
and good
Throw
people.
money at the problem until it goes away.
Yeah.
I love the sandwich dial. Another one, you can see the bezel's pretty beat up. This is another one where when I have divers and tool watches, I wear them to do stuff. So yeah, this one's just been banged, a few times. But, I like the lollipop dial. I know the Fotina was a little bit controversial. I just think it's a pretty color. Goes very well. I wear a lot of brown leather, so it goes very nicely with brown leather accessories.
It's not too much, too 14 ad. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
It's more like a color.
And the loom on this one's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. I doubt we're getting enough sunlight to really pick it up. Everybody's jerking themselves off.
Indeed, there's a lot of loom. What a whole lot of loom.
Yeah, so this one is really sweet in the dark.
Yeah.
The sandwich dial just gives it a ton of depth. Yeah, there you go.
Man.
Really fun. And
so many cool watches. So many cool watches in this collection.
Thank you. I believe this was the first one where they used green and blue loom. Yeah, it's a beautiful movement.
I like the mix of green and blue on the James Bond.
Yes, yeah. So I think this is the first one where they did that. And just really cool.
Sweet timepiece.
Yeah.
Ah, man, so it's good look. I love the 6.
Yeah. The design, the numerals are terrific.
The same as the 9.
Same as the 9, yeah. the 9
Haptic
is
always.
If you like the 6, wait till you see the 9. It's really a fantastic
totally
piece.
Different vibe.
Yeah.
I always have a clever little observations to make about watches. I'm a watch specialist after all.
Yeah. This is why we rely on you. These
this is
insights.
another watch.
Yeah, so this one actually not
smaller watch.
Yeah, this one's a lot smaller. I was in Beijing this last summer, and I realized that with all these watches, I don't really have a field watch. And I saw someone had put this one on, I believe it's 36 if you're measuring it. I'm not positive though. So this is actually only released in Japan. So this was from the Dynamic series from the mid-90s. This particular one is Murai. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So it has the broad arrow pattern, which is also loomed, which is very sweet. This one also has kick-ass loom. I think this is the Panerai loom. The one thing that I don't love about it is the date. The date has that sort of normal dynamic italicized font. I'm not wild about those numerals, but I think Yeah, these standard numerals are pretty sweet.
Always good to put a weird font just to throw.
I don't know what they're thinking with that. So this one, I don't generally customize my watches too much, but this is one where I may actually go out and get another date disc and stick it in there, because that's the only one that bugs me. It's an automatic, little indestructible.
And it's got the
timepiece.
military issued arrow.
The broad arrow.
Yeah, that's the arrow you were referring to.
Yeah, very like Dirty Dozen-y, homage kind of watch. Not a lot of, I don't know why it was Japan only. I think it's great. I think it's honestly significantly better than most of the dynamic line. I apologize to anyone who's watching the videos as a huge dynamic fan, but...
No, we love controversy on this channel.
Well, then you're all idiots.
Because there's more comments and more people will get to see the video. Moving on, and I am tripping because this is an unusual reference that you have seen in my collection. And what would you know, Josh happens to tell me, hey, I bought a JLC Cartier and it's got this and got that. What reference? What?
What was particularly funny about this one is that we talked about it because I was wearing it at Simon's birthday party a few years ago. I had just won it. So I wouldn't say I didn't intend to buy it, but I put in a very low bid when it went at auction.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a great watch. I thought it was undervalued. So this is a Tank American XL. So it's similar to a Century, but it's got a flatter back and half the price, basically. But I just thought it was a cool watch, and I thought the estimate was particularly low. I put in a relatively low bid, and I think because it was just sandwiched between two much more interesting pieces at auction, nobody else bid on it. So it went from, we have an online bidder, going once, going twice, gone, like this quickly. So I bought the watch. I'm very happy I did. It's actually been a fantastic addition. I put it, as you can see, I like to put it on some fun brace, some fun straps.
I know this
that
one.
we get. Yeah, this one from Mr. Chrono. It's just, I don't know. It's just it's a fun kick-ass piece.
It's perfect. There's the thing with Cartier. Actually, this one is a very fine Cartier. It's slimmer.
Yeah.
I believe it's the Frédéric Piguet movement, manual wind.
Yeah.
Wind, and this was before the transition to the Swiss made. So I had mine serviced, and they changed the dial. They put a Swiss made dial, and I'm like, there's 50% more words on the dial. But they gave me back the old one, but I had to insist. So this one, you still have the original.
Yeah.
And
what I like about
it's all about style, right?
For a second. What I like about this one is that I am drawn to, aesthetically, I'm drawn to smaller, more delicate watches, but they don't always look great on my larger
This one
wrist.
wears big and
this
has a lot
one
of
wears very
personality.
big, has a lot of personality, but it's
Do
still.
you feel that it bumps on your wrist bone?
No, I don't.
I kind of
I've
feel
not had that problem.
It sometimes annoys me.
Oh, really?
After a few
Like
minutes.
here?
Although it weighs like a piece of paper, but
I've never noticed that. It doesn't really bother me that way.
we have very different wrists. Yours are
very
bigger than mine.
Some are bigger and a little flatter on top. So
when I tried the Omega Pilot, it didn't wear at all on me.
Here,
And on your wrist is like at home. I told Amanda that's going to be for him.
sometimes you just kind of know.
If it's blue, we know it's for Simon.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I can obviously wear it. It's not that big, but
I think the real thing that you'll notice on this one for your wrist, if you turn to the side, is because the movement is a lot thicker. It's an automatic. It's the 9900 movement, so it's a little thicker than a normal Speedmaster.
Which by the way, in itself is great.
Which is actually great.
An automatic Omega Speedy that you like. It's it's not bad not to have to wind them all the time.
Yeah.
Because when you're a speedy guy, your thumb gets quite. You can see mine. winding. For some reason, I've been buying manual watches. Some of them not as nice as Omega. It's
almost.
Look at that. This is just watches.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at almost my whole collection is manual wind. Honestly, I have so few automatics.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Let's stay in the dressier side. So,
La Moser.
Yeah, that one probably deserves a wipe down. So this is a Swiss Alp. For those unfamiliar with this line, it's been a few years since they released the final version. This was Moser's, let's say, homage to the Apple Watch. Yeah, so I love Moser. I love the brand. I not 100% sure why I don't have more of their watches. This particular one, this was probably the first watch I bought with the intention of reselling. I had a good deal from the AD, but I actually kind of fell in love with it, and now I wear it pretty frequently. It dresses up very nicely, and the movement is absolutely stunning. I think that Moser does not...
Did you show it at the Apple shop? They would freak out if you show them this watch.
At the Apple shop?
Yeah.
No, I haven't brought that in. I should.
Show them.
Yeah,
They're gonna freak out.
That's funny. Yeah. No, this one's great. So it's fun. It definitely one of the things I like with this one is that it's obviously horology. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. The finishing's gorgeous. The dial is that beautiful fume that they're famous for, but it's still fun, and it's fun in a way that isn't. It's not too over the top. So this is one where non-watch enthusiasts will look at it and sort of do a double take, and then they'll get a smile out of it. And watch enthusiasts obviously are usually very amused by it.
Yeah, not many Apple Watches have interior angle bevels.
Yeah.
Jesus. And by the way, Mr. Stern, when you have a rectangular shaped watch,
Yes.
This is how
This is how the movement should look. Yeah, I love the Patek line in general, but that was not a hit for me either.
Very cool, man. It is really, it's a trip.
It's fun. It's just a fun watch. Yeah, the finishing on the dial is
Do
fantastic.
you just laugh the whole day as you're wearing?
I'm always amused with it.
Well, we can stay with the shaped watches.
Yeah, let's go with that.
With,
this is my newest. This is actually, believe it or not, my newest acquisition.
I love this watch, and everybody loves this watch. How can you not love this watch?
How can you not love this watch?
It's the most lovable watch in the world, probably.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the coolest brands.
So perfect. Yeah, I love Vacheron. You can't not love this watch.
You know, if you decided to have a collection of just Vacheron, people would just venerate you.
Yeah, I would never
your sense of
consider-
style.
It's just perfect.
So this is the larger version.
Yes, this is the larger version. In general, so this is, what I was talking about with the Speedmasters as well. In general, for a vintage inspired watch, such as this one, I think aesthetically, it generally makes more sense to go for the smaller, but it doesn't sit on my wrist. It looks like a child's toy. So I went with the larger, and frankly, it just suits me better. Part of the reason I fell in love with this one, aesthetics aside, is there's a famous chef named Eric Ripert, I'm sure you're familiar with, who runs one of the best restaurants in the world, or a couple of them, but one of the best ones, Le Bernardin in New York. And he was getting into watches, and one of his business partners, he saw this one, he liked it, he didn't want to buy it for himself. One of his business partners bought it for him. And he said, thank you, but what am I supposed to do with this? I can never wear this watch. I work in a kitchen. And the guy said, well, you are the driver of our success. It's appropriate that you wear this watch and, drive the restaurant, drive the business. And so he decided to wear it every day, and he's worn it in the kitchen quite a lot. You can see there was that book that came out last year, A Man and His Watch, has pictures of his copy of it. It's beat to hell, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It tells a wonderful story.
Your strap is still brand new.
Yeah, this is close.
It's still that's why it wears a bit weird.
It's stiff. Yeah, the leather's still stiff.
Wear it out.
Yeah, so I did buy this from somebody else, but the leather is quite new. And I will probably end up getting a few more straps for it. One of the great things with Vacheron is
very interesting.
How you can
watch.
Play with the straps. I guess we can do another.
Do you drive?
I do not.
It's a driver's watch. So
it is definitely a driver's watch. That was one of the
do you
reasons
want me
I waited so long. No, that's okay.
Try it. I
okay.
can test it for you. I literally picked up Josh with my
that's the first time. Yeah, I'm almost never. One funny thing that people may not know who don't live here in Hong Kong is that most people don't own a car.
Yeah.
Like unbelievably low private car ownership. And I've actually never driven a car in the city, believe it or not.
there's a rule in a collection that you cannot just have one Vacheron Constantin. And I'm glad that you're abiding by this obvious rule. So
Yeah, so this was this one I picked up a few years ago because I had been wearing the Patek regularly, but honestly, it was just a little too small for me on a daily basis, and I wanted to get another yellow gold dress watch. I ended up with the rose gold. This is the one that ended up speaking to me. I looked at quite a number of different.
shh, listen to her. Yeah, she's speaking to me too. Try to steal me.
I never should have come over with the whole collection. At your mercy here. Yeah, I think this is just about a perfect dress watch. I'll admit some people would say, from purist, there shouldn't be the small seconds complication. I personally love a small seconds. I like to see a little bit of movement on the dial. So yeah, that is why I ended up with this one instead of the pure small seconds. But this is the Patrimoine Traditionnel in rose gold.
Is it the same movement as?
I don't think so. They're probably very similar, actually. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is the same movement. Hey. Cut.
I won't cut it because it's probably the best. It's
Yeah.
totally different movement. No.
No, it's very similar. I think that might be.
Yeah. I am a watch specialist.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think it's the same,
bevel
yeah.
look the same. Yeah,
I think it's the same movement.
same movement.
Good eye. Look at this guy. That's why you make.
Well, there you
YouTube
go
videos.
with shaming Vacheron for being so lazy.
Oh
Not
my
to
gosh.
even put a different movement in every watch.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well,
right?
economies of scale,
Yeah.
obvious at Vacheron. Look at this.
Yeah. So this is the watch I have put the most straps on. I've probably bought 6 different straps for it. I've got a beautiful Wimbledon green, this one beige, and I think you've seen that blue, that really funky blue with the gold strap, which is really great. I get all of these from our buddy Mark at Mr. Chrono.
So she's like your mistress, and you have to buy her new shoes every month.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it just shows the versatility of the watch. So this is, I think, 38 and a half
Great size.
millimeters.
Great
Perfect size.
size.
Super small. Yeah. Dress
Yeah,
it up,
so
dress
if
it
you're a
down.
gentleman, I think you can do a lot worse. Huh?
Yeah. And even if, like me, you're not a gentleman, you can still treat yourself a little bit.
Moving on with La Grande Maison Jaeger LeCoultre, a two-faced watch. Tell us about
For a
it.
two-faced man. No, I wanted a JLC. I'd wanted a JLC for a very long time. I actually bought this one with Simon, like many of the watches that we've seen today. I love the Reverso. I don't think we need to talk about the history of it. It's just a phenomenal watch. This is the Tribute, which is a much larger case. Again, not to sort of harp on a theme too much, but the smaller ones just don't sit on my wrist. This is actually a great story about straps, this watch. So when I bought it, it was on a blue leather strap. And despite the fact that it's an absolutely gorgeous watch, I never, ever wore it. And I couldn't figure out why. I wanted to figure out why, because I wanted to wear the watch. It's lovely. But for some reason, the matte blue leather just never seemed to match with anything that I wore. So it sat in the box for a long time. And I kept bringing it into Mr. Chrono. Mark and I would go through all of, whenever there was a new release of leathers, we'd look, so there anything was working. None of it ever worked. And then finally, one day, Mark had the idea, why don't you try it on a white rubber strap, which I don't have with me. I can send a picture, maybe you can put up on edit into the video with your magic skills.
I'm saying yes, but I won't.
Yeah. But this thing on white rubber, it brings out the more of the tool watch, the history of it, the sportiness of the watch. It's awesome. It's totally awesome on the all white rubber. And then finally, what I wanted to buy, which they didn't have, is this Casa Fagiano leather and fabric. So yeah, this they didn't make this in the 22 millimeter when I bought the watch, but they just released it this year, and I immediately snapped one up. So now it's on the slightly dressier version, which I really like as well. I ended up with going with the gray, as you can see, and
It has a very equestrian
Yes.
quality to it.
yes, as it should.
Don't know why.
As it
Yes.
should. Yeah. So yeah, just a lovely. I think if the one with the date, the annual calendar complication, if that had existed when I bought this one, I probably would have gone for that. This is the older version with just the moon phase and the date, but yeah, I think it's just a beautiful watch nonetheless.
Lovely date with the crescent.
Yeah. One thing I will say with this one is that I don't know whether it's JLC or me or just this particular reference, but this thing is a scratch magnet. So this one of all of the steel watches really should, and maybe it's just because the steel is so highly polished, but yeah, it got scratches. I think the first day I wore it.
That's the problem with Chinese steel.
It just yeah, exactly.
All right, JLC Reverso, born for polo, and now listed after by Crypto Bros.
Okay.
What is next?
Should we take a look at the
Yes,
world
we
timer?
should. I think we should.
Yeah, it's fine. So this is an Arnold & Son. This is a world timer. I'm forgetting the reference number. With a lovely suede strap again from Mr. Chrono. Love the dark finishing on the movement. It's a fun automatic piece. So what's fun about this one? Well, I mean, I don't really need to explain it. It's a completely absurd world timer complication. So the way that this works is you have your 24-hour dial around the inside, and the world actually, I don't know, I've got the hour there. The world actually rotates around as you move the minute. So you just track down where in the world you are. It's just the northern hemisphere. So let's see where this one would be showing. Here's Hong Kong.
Looks very practical.
This is super practical. Totally useless. Also, for half of the day, because of this massive bridge, you can't actually see where the hour and minute hand indicators are. Totally ridiculous watch.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, but yeah, again, this was just, I don't know, it was just very fun. This was one of the ones I picked up when we had that downturn in the secondary market about a year and a half ago.
And when you were drinking a lot as well.
Didn't hurt.
Period,
Yeah. So yeah, so I bought this one at auction, and yeah, just like really silly.
Any loom to it?
No, just
not really.
No, not really. So
I would have loomed the ocean.
absolutely massive watch though. Not super practical.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. It is something.
It is something.
It's not something that I dislike, nor something I love.
Yeah.
It is something.
I will admit, I got it because it made me smile. That is 100% of this one.
And that's the whole reason why we buy watches. Huh?
Yeah.
The next one is going to make you smile as well, especially after my video of today with the Chinese knockoff.
Perfect timing.
It's the first time I see one, actually.
Oh, really? You've never seen one?
No, somehow.
So
I managed to avoid them.
Too bad for you. So we've got the green Mad 1. Get the loom on the date and numbers too.
So so now you are a friend.
Yeah,
officially,
no,
you're
I
a
think
friend.
I think I'm a friend of a friend. I don't think you get to join the tribe with this one. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was silly until I saw one in person, and then I just kind of fell in love with it. I'll also add, I am from Boston. I wore this thing through the entire Boston Celtics championship run because it is green, and now it will have a special place in my heart forever.
It won't stop spinning.
Until you put it on.
and then you shake.
Yeah, you got it. It's a double. Yeah, double.
And then you shake your wrist like
you're
a
shaking it like an
maniac.
idiot again and again and again, and yeah, your kids are going, make it spin, make it spin.
There you go. Finally, you've seen a Mad One on the wrist of Uptick.
Yeah.
You can unsubscribe.
Yeah,
That was the last thing.
If you thought the Arnold & Son World Timer was impractical, this one's like on a different level.
It does. Actually, it wears.
It doesn't wear that bad.
Compared to the Chinese knockoff I tried out today, it wears surprisingly well.
Well, actually, maybe I'm catching you on exactly the right day to try it on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not at all shocking.
Yeah. And if you want to talk about one that gets the attention of non-watch enthusiasts, this one absolutely will.
Especially traveling through China, they love those crazy watches.
Yeah, they love a funky watch. It's just hilarious. I think it's yeah.
And again,
Not
I
super
think every
defensible.
crypto bro has to have one of these.
You got to have something.
There's
well,
something about it.
That or the Snoopy, or both.
Indeed, indeed. Where are we going next? And to finish the video, almost an hour, a few more watches, the lovely Studio Underdog. Loving
Yeah.
it?
I will be honest, this is one I don't wear as much as I probably would like to.
Cool movement.
Yeah, it's like surprisingly nice, right? Very reasonably priced. I think these are very fun. I really do. I liked their collaboration with Moser as well.
You're a fun-loving guy.
I am a fun-loving guy. I like a little bit of color. I like a bit of pop. Speaking of which, this is one from IFL Watches. This is the Dial Artist. So he has a bunch of these Casioks that he's painted. I actually own about 6 of these in various colorways. I just brought one today. This is the one I wear the most, though. This is the metal.
It's okay, we'll do another video with all the G-Shock.
Yeah, we'll just have a G-Shock day.
Okay.
Yeah, so he hand paints these. There's usually a limited run where he does this sort of splash color on the dial. I particularly like those. I think they're nicer.
My daughter could do a similar job for you.
Yeah.
A couple of Oris.
So this one that you have in front of you, this
Couple
is
of Orises.
Oris's.
Orifices.
Well, now it's going to sound even worse when I tell you this is how I met Simon.
Yeah.
So
It's okay, nobody's listening anymore. It's only 55
Yeah.
minutes in. There's only you and me.
Simon, you can finally your name's finally coming up. So this one, the diver, the Oris Aquas, was an early watch, and Simon and I briefly worked together, which is how we met. He saw me wearing this watch in the office, and thought, well, like nobody who's not a watch nerd wears an Oris, right? This is just like, so he didn't even come up to me. He just slacked me. And it's like, hey, I see your watch. It's very nice. Are you into watches? And we started going and looking at boutiques in around Central and Hong Kong.
Love at
at
first
lunch,
sight.
which is how we met Amanda. Was going to the Omega boutique there when she was still working in Central. And he was actually with me when I bought, quite a number of these, but particularly that Apollo 11 Speedmaster, which was at some very bizarre shop out in Mongkok.
So in some way, this is the origin watch.
This really is kind of the origin story watch. Great loom.
And cool brand, or Oris.
I love Oris.
They're spinning their wheel a little bit now, trying to find the next thing. But
they're in that tough market range where like Longines is as well.
Yeah.
Where they're not quite luxury enough to be a status symbol, but they're a little too expensive to be just kind of a banging around watch for a casual person. But the Aquas is great, and oh my god, talk about indestructible. This is one that it's heavy, and I don't even think about it when I'm wearing it.
it does feel like a weapon.
Yeah, I mean, it just, like, good luck damaging this watch. Like, I'm sure it's possible, but oh my god.
Let me call my son.
Yeah. I also should say, if anybody is listening, Oris I just had that one serviced. They were so excellent. Very reasonably priced. The quality of service was extremely high, very communicative, very polite and happy. It was maybe the best service experience I've ever had with a brand.
I'm glad you mentioned
Really
that,
great.
because when you have so many watches, we forget that everything is mechanical, gonna have to have some attention to it, and it's so many horror stories. So it's like Omega and Oris.
Omega's been fantastic.
It's just
fantastic
they're
services.
super.
Yes. Yeah, really great.
And this lovely one with the
This is the Big Crown date. This one is the Roberto Clemente limited edition one.
Clemente.
So Roberto Clemente was a baseball player. I'm a very big baseball fan. He didn't play for my team, but he's recognized. Actually, the Major League Baseball in the U.S. gives an award, the Roberto Clemente Award, every year for the player who best exemplified basically the ideals of being an excellent person and an excellent man. So somebody who makes a large impact in their community, somebody who is a gentleman on and off the field. And that's really his legacy in the game, is just not just his excellence on the field, but the fact that he was just a true gentleman and true athlete and sportsman. So I really liked that. And I like the colorway, I like the little suede strap. It's great. It's got his his number was 21. I don't know how visible that's going to be in the light that we're losing, but 21 is gold on the date. That was the color of his team, the Pittsburgh
Oh,
Pirates.
yes. Can see that.
Yeah. This is actually the one, so, we talked about that Rolex Cellini. Part of the reason I didn't buy it was actually because of this watch. And I found out I don't like the crown pointer date complication. I generally like pointer date complications, but I am constantly, when I wear this watch, I'm constantly looking at the date indicator and thinking it's the minute or the second, and it just, I don't know, it's a
and when you try to teach time to your young kids, they go nuts with watches like this.
Very confusing. Yeah, so very confusing.
But good looking watch, and
it's a beautiful watch. It's a beautiful watch. And again, Oris, excellent brand. Excellent brand.
And
rounding
the last two watches, we have Nomos.
Nomos and a Brew.
And a Brew.
Yeah. So the Nomos first, this was the first dress watch I bought for myself. I don't wear it as much as I should, frankly. I think this is just really, really lovely. I like the slight bit of asymmetry. I generally don't like a date window at 4 o'clock, but this one works for me. It's a lovely movement. If people are not familiar with Nomos, they do really excellent.
They are, because they love the Optic Watch Review channel. Many Nomos reviews. Great people to deal with. Yeah. So check out
This is the Ludwig, which is 41.5 millimeters. It wears very large because of those huge lugs.
Yeah.
So this is one where you have to have a wide wrist to get it on. But I like the Roman numerals. I like the asymmetry on the dial. The step to the small seconds is just about perfect. And this is one of those ones where I don't wear it so often, but when I do, this is the one I find myself just staring at it all day, even now, 4 or 5 years later.
Lovely movement, and so smooth,
so
thin,
smooth, and
super
really
thin.
really affordable for the quality. I mean, the price to quality ratio is just so high on these watches, and it's just pure class. It's a pure class piece.
And the very last one.
The very last one, last but not least, the Brew. So for those unfamiliar with this brand, this is a guy, he's actually a New York guy, and he has a couple of different cases, but he's inspired by brewing espresso, which is why the brand is called Brew. So this one is the Retromatic. It's too small for me, but I love it. It's a very funky sort of 70s style watch. You'll notice, so it has a chronograph function. You'll notice here between 30 and 35 seconds on the second tracker on the outside has the indicators are in gold rather than in white. That is because the perfect pull of espresso comes between 30 and 35 seconds. So this is a built for purpose espresso making timer. And yeah, just, funky watch. He has a whole bunch of Retromatic. They are, it's not in-house movement. It's, your sort of standard quartz movement. But yeah, very cool watches. These are super affordable. And if you are, like me, American, and you do occasionally want to support an American watchmaker, I think he's a great guy. Takes his brand very seriously and has a lot of very fun 70s retro-inspired watches and colors.
Wicked. Well, this brings us to the conclusion. What a diverse collection, and people will appreciate that there's not a single Rolex in it. And we know that the origins of the collection, of the passion for watches, with your great granddad's watch, the origin of you knowing, getting to meet Simon, and getting the first Speedies, and all the stories around the Speedies. We'll do another video with Josh and Simon just about Omega very soon. But for now, I think, we got through in an hour. Not bad.
Not bad.
And I think we try to go as fast as possible. There's probably a lot more stories we could tell about this cool collection, but finally we got it made. So thank you. Handshake. Guys, let Simon let Simon know as well.
Yeah, let Simon know
what you think of Josh's collection. Let Josh know what you think about his collections. Cool watches. What should come next?
Yeah.
What should he sell to you at a great price?
Great price for me, yeah.
And
you let me know. Give me an offer.
Yeah. I'm running out of voice, and so big thanks to Josh for sharing all these and the stories associated. And guys, give his collection a like. I think there's so much quality, so much diversity to it that how can you not enjoy this super collection? So I hope you've enjoyed also the Christmas flavors on the background. That's my home table. So a big thanks to Mrs. Uptick, who's going to come home soon, so we better wrap it up because she's going to think the watch dealer trying to sell me a bunch of things in the house. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye, John.
Bye.